Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Tip Tuesday. This is
Chuck.
and I'm Henry. And today we want to tell you about a new feature in version 12 concerning revision control. That's right, really exciting stuff. But if you've gone to version 12, you've likely seen evidence of it if you've done anything at the administrative level, because our development team has decided to turn this on by default. One, so you know it's there, and two, so you can actually go back and check on revisions to your configuration. And if you make a mistake in it, heck, you can even revert to the way that it was when you made it. So you would have seen it, for example, if we had done anything in here. So we're just going to make a minor change. We're going to say howdy. That's a good one. Add a receipt. Perfect. Okay, great. And then, oh, there it is. Enter check-in note for yo. It's required, of course, so that's what we're talking about. In this instance, this is just asking for a comment for the actual change, and this is to log a change to the event that we've actually made the change to. So it's going to ask you for it here. It's going to ask you for it when you actually save the event period.
Is receipt EI or IE?
I before E, except after C, dude.
Okay, it looks like we're clear then.
Great. Okay, so let's get out of here and let's walk over to the config changes. So you can get there two places. You can get there from your home screen, which is under preferences, the bottom there where he was right before, config changes, or you can go straight to your installation directory
and open it there.
And open it there, exactly. So
we've already got it open though, so here we go.
So the first thing that I think we should go over are, let's go over settings first.
Settings?
Let's work right to left in this instance. So by default, we have a few things with the version 12 upgrade turned on. We have archive changes upon save. That means, okay, for all of these different parts of the software, we're going to archive that. You can turn on estimated hours upon lock. So we have a couple different things here. We're documenting changes, and we're also making it so that you're locking. For example, if you are going into a certificate template and you're making some crucial changes, and you have another administrator who thinks he or she should make changes at the same time, well, it's actually going to lock you out now. Before, two people could actually go in simultaneously, and whoever saved last would be the winner. So in this case, you're actually able to lock the other person out. So the estimated hours upon lock for these areas, when it is locked, it will inform the other user approximately how long you're going to be in that part of the software.
Yep, and you can just type whatever value you want here to change it.
Exactly. So prompt for comment upon lock, I think that's pretty straightforward. When you lock it, it's going to ask you what you're doing, basically, and then when somebody else tries to go in, along with that time, it's also going to tell them, what they're actually doing in that item.
It's that same comment that we got, except it'll happen when you lock things instead of make changes.
And that is turned off by default functionality. All of these checkboxes, this is how you get it when you first go to 12. Prompt for comment upon save archive, that's what we did just before when we got out of our event and made the change. Prompt to retain lock. Now, basically, if you lock the actual item when you go in, as you undoubtedly will if this stays on, when you actually exit out of there, it will ask you if you'd like to retain that lock. That means when you get out of there, even when you're not on there, do you want to keep that lock on so nobody can get in there? Maybe you got to go grab a bite or something, and you just, or you want it for a couple days to just hold off. You can have that for an unspecified amount of time. Require comment upon lock, that makes sense too. Require comment upon save archive. Yes, all of these things. Great, perfect.
And then there's use locking in general. So if you don't want to lock at all, you can turn it off.
Yeah, the locking, again, is just when you're actually in that component of the software that nobody else will be able to be in.
Yeah, and you can see them here on the locks tab. We were just in an event config, so you have proof there, but in case you wanted to make sure that we weren't trying to jip you here, we do have our certificate open, our standard cert. So when you see that it's locked, it really is being locked.
So just kind of going over the screen very quickly, the locked tab here, you have active, inactive, or all equipment. So when you have an active lock on the equipment, you can actually inactivate that lock. Let's say you have one system administrator working on something, but he mysteriously got let go that afternoon, and you couldn't get in because you didn't know his password. Rather than removing him from the database, or maybe he didn't get let go, maybe he left for the afternoon and you really need to make changes before the weekend, you could go in and inactivate that lock with that little unlocking item there. Excellent, perfect. And then you can see it's inactive there. So you can search by a date range of locks there. You can search by the user who has locked it, and then also by the type of item that is being locked. So pretty straightforward functionality there, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then we have changes. Now this is a more intense list, as it shows every change that's been made in the database since the config changes has been set up. So if you update to 12 and you never touch this, we by default capture everything. And if you let it go for a couple of months and you come back, you'll have a pretty large list of changes that have been made if you have people tweaking the configuration as much as we do here at IndySoft. But it's also really useful because it kind of adds a little bit of accountability for what gets changed.
Oh, yeah.
So if one of your certs looks really, really bad and it used to look really good, and you want to find out who made it look bad, we now have a record of that. Now, if you don't like this, you can always turn it off in the settings.
Really gets rid of the mystery,
Mm-hmm.
which in this scenario, you'd like that.
And see here, when I added a receipt, I left a little note. So when someone comes in and say, why is there a receipt on the Yo event? They can come and say that, well, Chuck added it. He says he made a receipt. He doesn't provide a reason. But then you can go to Chuck and ask
Yeah,
him.
and be like, Chuck,
Yeah.
What's going on, dude?
I just wanted
What'd
a
you do to
receipt.
that thing?
I just like receipts.
That's cool. We all do. It's important. And I think the most important thing outside of that, you have the same kind of search functionality on the left there that you had in your lock screen, date, user, and type of change. The most important thing is this little dude up here. Revert to selected change archive hot dog. A do it again button, a do over button in IndySoft? Who would have thought? Anyway, basically, you make the change. You don't like that change. Now you can go back and have that document, have that template, have that alarm be exactly the way that it was before you actually saved that change.
This can save you, actually. If you completely mess up a cert, like I have done lots of times, you can always just pull this open, find the time you changed it, and go back to before you changed it and messed it all up.
That's pretty sweet. I like it. Especially good for companies that have a lot of different system administrative types, doing a lot of big operations or just starting up. So definitely something to look out for. And again, if you don't like that stuff and you don't want revision control, you can turn off all those settings and all those checkboxes, and things will be exactly the way they were in version 11 and before.
Oh yeah, we love version 11.
Yeah, version 11 is good. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this and got something out of it, and got a little information on those changes. And we hope you have a great rest of your week.
Happy calibrating.